Delta Force is finally here for everybody to enjoy, and one of the best ways to make sure you have a good time is to ensure you have some clever loadouts set up and ready to go. Loadouts in Delta Force extraction mode, or operations as it's now called, allow you to have preset armor, med, ammo, and gun setups ready to be used at just the click of a button. And using these will save you from having to spend ages in the menus after every game getting your operator set up and ready to go. So if you want to maximize your time actually playing the game, as well as making sure you're using your resources effectively, then try out some of my loadouts and let me know what you think. So if you want to find your loadouts first, if you haven't yet selected a map choice, you have to do that first. You can go and click whatever, it doesn't really matter. Choose gear up. And then you can see the button here says loadout. Once you've pressed that, you can then see the loadout button in the bottom left where it says L. If you click this, it will take you to the loadout setup page. This is where you can save your own loadouts. By default, these 4 options here will be empty. And then at the top one, you have previous loadout. That's just going to give you whatever you had in the previous game and automatically buy it. What all these icons mean here, you see the gun, the M4, and the armor here has the little yellow shopping trolley icon on it. What that means is that those things are going to be purchased when you click the cost in the bottom right here, 102,000. When I click that, it's going to buy all of the items with the shopping trolley icon because we don't currently own them. It's going to buy those from the auction house, so the values of those can vary. If I take this helmet off for a second and show you, see here some of these say 6,600 or 63,000 or whatever. That's the estimated current value of that thing. But if you buy those from the auction house, it might actually end up being more than that, or it might end up being less than that, depending on fluctuations in the market. So in order to create a loadout, you just select one of these 4 slots that you want to enter into. And the first one I wanted to show you was just having something very basic to go in. Pretty much a no gear loadout. I think it's great to have ready in case you're very low on money, or if you want to go in and kill AI at the start and then take their weapons, which can be a very effective way of having a very financially lucrative round. Not something you might want to do if you're expecting loads of difficult PvP, but it's definitely one I would recommend everybody has ready to go. What I suggest for this is having a basic pistol equipped. You could go Desert Eagle if you wanted something a bit more powerful, but really just the basic, any of these early pistols will do. They're super cheap. Once you grab one of those, you just click on ammo and then chuck in some green ammo, something very basic. Really all you want here is enough to kill the first AI bot you can find, and then you're going to take all of their stuff. You could go in just completely like this, but I would recommend chucking on another couple of bits. You see this costs about 5k, but we can go on and put the most basic helmet, the most basic vest, and safer bag and chest rig as well. And that's only going to take the cost for that up to 12,500. Something like this I think is really worth having. It's very quick and ready to go. It's a good bit of fun if you fancy something different. And like I said, the whole aim of this loadout is to kill an enemy bot and take their stuff. You can upgrade your rig, your bag, your helmet, your vest. And I'd recommend also probably sticking a couple of cheap meds on there, maybe a surgical kit and a vehicle first aid kit, so you can wrap a wound and heal up some HP. And we've still only spent 15k. Just make sure you save these, click save, and then you just type into the slot that we're on. We're on pistol at the moment, already named this one. We can click save and save over that. Another loadout I like to have ready to go is the big bag cheap loadout, and I use this a lot during the early test. When you're not playing in the higher difficulty modes, normal or hard or covert ops, you can normally get away with pretty basic equipment, and again you can sort of scrounge thing off enemy AI that you kill, or maybe easier players that you might kill, but it's always nice to have a big bag, because the bigger your bag, the more money you can make by extracting items. So what I like to do is have a loadout ready that's maybe 100 to 150k total. Stick a purple bag. This map recon one is pretty good. I recommend that. That's got 24 slots in it with a current value of 22,000. You can get up to, well, 40 slots with the heavy climbing bag. That's going to cost you a lot. The gold bag is going to be about 45,000 for 30 slots, but that's actually costs a lot more at the moment. But I think for cost versus size and for the sort of tier level we're going for here, I think the map recon backpack is a pretty good shout. Also like to run the assault tactical vest. I think is a really good value tactical vest. Very easy to come by, and 14 slots is pretty decent there. So you got a purple bag, purple chest rig, and then just green protection level 2 armor. I've got the basic stab vest on here, and then the H01 tactical helmet here. It's another pen level 2 green helmet that's very, very cheap, along with some basic meds. This time I've chucked a tactical quick use surgical kit in there, as well as a couple of other meds for getting health back and a little bit of ammo. Now, something to keep in mind with loadouts is a lot of the time you might not want to bother putting guns on these at all, because the stuff that takes a while is sometimes sorting out your armor and your meds and that kind of thing. And a lot of the time you just have guns lying around, so you might even be tempted just to have a loadout like this without a gun in it at all. I've just got a cheap Bison loadout I made here, but you can actually get rid of this completely, get rid of the ammo, and just have this saved ready, and then all you need to do is come over here, select this loadout, buy it when you want to use it, and then just go into your stash and find whatever gun you've got lying around that you want to use. Be like, cool, I've got an M4, whatever, here's some FMJ, bosh, and you're good to go. And it's quite a good way of just using up the guns that you have rather than hoarding all these random guns you pick up off enemies and end up never really using. If you want to make gun loadouts, by the way, I'll cover that in detail in another video, but the short version is you go to Gunsmith, find the weapon you want to make a loadout for. Here's the Bison, for instance, and select modify. You can then go through these different things and put on whatever optic you want, and if you click the money icon, it's going to buy that, but if you click preview, then it's just going to put it on and not spend anything for the time being. We can put a grip on here, for instance, as well. Click preview, it keeps all of these items on. Then go to the loadout tab and click save in the bottom right, and you can save that as whatever you want to call it. Then when you go back to your normal loadout screen and we select our big bag cheaper option here, get rid of that Bison and click it again. We can find the Bison, select loadout on the right hand side here, and then select that new Bison that we just found there and do equip. And if I click that, you'll buy that Bison with those attachments we just selected. Like I said, though, you might want to do these just with no guns at all, so you can just drag and drop whatever guns you want to use up from your stash. The next loadout I'd recommend having ready to go is what I have saved as my Fancy Pants loadout. This isn't my top tier loadout, but it's a pretty solid loadout. We're looking at purple armor here, big bag capacity. We've got helmet and vest repair. I've left it with no gun again because we can select whatever we want to use on its own. This is the loadout we want to use for higher difficulty level missions, so normal or hard, as opposed to the easy stuff. We don't want to be taking 300, 400, 500k loadouts into easy mode, but for the harder stuff where the PvP is going to be tougher and higher risk versus reward, you want a better loadout. So for this one, we've gone for purple gear. We've got the MHS tactical helmet. This one gives you plus hearing range, 30% hearing range, moderate noise reduction, a little bit of debuff to aim speed and movement speed, but pen level 4 and reasonable durability of 30 at a pretty sensible cost. Vest wise, we've gone for the assault vest because it has the lower hanging part that protects your abdomen as well as your chest. Remember, in this game, your armor is only where it physically is on your body. If you get shot in the arms or legs or parts of your body that aren't armored, then there's going to be no armor protecting those. So this also protects your abdomen and has 90 durability. We've gone for the GT5 field backpack here. It's a 30 slot backpack, but then just sticking with the same assault tactical vest using the previous loadout. That's going to give us 14 slots in the chest rig and 30 slots in the backpack. So 44 slots there compared to, if we look at the pistol loadout from earlier, for instance, they only had 12 slots between backpack and rig. Again, I've left the gun blank here so you can chuck in whatever you like. You can either drag it from your stash or select something from a loadout. If you want to buy your favorite meta weapon you like using, we can select something like this where we have a fancy loadout. Click that, do equip. You can see that now adds that cost on to that loadout. So that'd be 900k for that gun and all of that other gear we want to get as well. That is a little bit inflated at the moment because this is just during the early phase of the game. The market hasn't really settled yet, but it is a pretty expensive loadout. The fourth loadout I wanted to look at today was the very fancy loadout, your sort of top tier premium loadout. And what we're going to use for this is still purple gear, but it's going to be the top end purple gear. So if we look at the 4 different purple helmets, for example, that are available, there's the big full face helmet, which some people like, but it obscures your hearing, your vision. It's quite annoying to wear, I find. But as we go up through these helmets, they do gradually cost more, but they have different benefits. They're all pen level 4, but some of them, you see this one here that we're actually going to use has plus 50% hearing range and a big chunk of noise reduction, high noise reduction. Also weighs significantly less than the D6 tactical helmet, but does have slightly lower durability than the GT1 tactical helmet, which you might want to use, but that has inferior hearing range bonuses. So there's pros and cons to all of these. These bottom 2 are both pretty decent helmets depending on your preference. For the vest, again, we've gone for the bottom purple one in this case rather than one of the cheaper ones. This is another low-hanging vest that protects your abdomen, but also has a very high durability, 110. We go down to the early ones, you see they have 80, 80, 90, 100, 110. That's how much damage that vest can take before it breaks or you need to repair it. Backpack wise, we're keeping it the same as the previous loadout with the GT5 gold field backpack, 30 slots, but the chest rig, we're actually going to upgrade this time to the GR field chest rig. It's another purple one, but this one has 20 slots in it rather than the 14 slots in the assault tactical vest. So an extra 6 slots there to chuck bits in. And we're also going to carry vest repair, helmet repair, a little bit extra meds, and that's going to be our fancy pants loadout. This will cost me 600k, give or take, without a gun, so pretty premium loadout there. Just don't forget to equip a gun and take some ammo with you. Now, something that's worth covering if you're going into normal or hard difficulty where they have a certain minimum gear value that you need to hit before you're allowed in, the way that's calculated is the total value of your wearable items, so your helmet, vest, backpack, chest rig, and also your gun and any attachments it has on it. That value doesn't include ammo you take with you, doesn't include any items you might bring from your stash, like collectible items, doesn't include meds. And if we go back to this page here, you can see it tells us the gear value of the current loadout I've got set up here with this M4, 158k. And if I hover over here, it tells you exactly what's included in your gear value there. And I think one of the reasons for this is so you can't artificially inflate your gear value to get into normal or hard difficulty without having to take a risk. Because, for example, you could take some really high value ammo and then just put it into your safe box and you wouldn't have to risk losing it, but you'd be able to jump up your gear values. That's why items aren't included in that. So you can take in a looted item. Say if this was a high value thing, you can take that in to jump up your value. It has to be wearables, helmet, armor, etc., or your gun. Now, as a fifth and final bonus loadout, I wanted to talk about gear sets, which are a little bit underused. I think it's a great way to go into the game. Again, if you're low on money, they're really useful. If you're just bored of managing your inventory, don't want to set up another loadout, go into your gear sets. You acquire these recruit tickets. You can buy those, or you acquire lots of them, recruit, standard, and elite a little bit more rarely, just by completing events, missions, stuff like that. You're going to acquire these over time. And I like using the survival ones quite a lot. I find they have a nice balance of med, bag space, armor. And this just gives you a preset gear loadout. If you don't die, if you manage to extract with it, then you keep the stuff that's in it. If you die, then you just lose it. They just cost you one of these tickets to buy. A useful trick to know with gear sets is sometimes these might look like they don't quite have exactly what you want. If, say, this one didn't have the ammo you wanted or some meds you wanted, you want to take in some higher tier ammo, you can actually take stuff in your safe box. You can't put stuff in your bag for gear loadouts, but you can put things in your safe box and take it into game. So I could put this blue ammo, for example. It's the wrong ammo for this gun, but I could put this in my safe box and we could actually still go into game taking this in my safe box, and that would be allowed. So don't sleep on gear sets. They're worth using and they're also a great time saver and money saver. So that's everything for today. Hopefully you found some of those useful. If you have any other loadout ideas of your own you'd like to share, then please leave them in a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Ben. We are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.